Welcome to Arcam. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. I hope everybody is having a very blessed day. So, today we are going to be talking about a scandal involving 23andMe. Apparently, apparently, all of their board of directors quit suddenly, quit all at once. So we'll discuss that. We'll discuss what they might be doing with your DNA. We will also discuss another reboot, a reboot of a beloved television show known as The Office. This time it's in Australia, and guess what? They've done something radical. They have inverted the male characters with female characters. So I just know it's going to be hilarious, right? Right? I hope. We'll see. We'll also talk about nannying and a little bit of drama involving Mr. Beast. So all that today and more on Arcam. All right, I hope everybody's having a great day. So we're just gonna get right into this. All right. So this is a tweet by Sam Rad. So this is her little personal story. Today, the entire board of directors for the mail order DNA testing kit company resigned. Rewind to April 7th, 2017. My company was featured on the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle. Someone snapped a photo of me holding the newspaper. Interestingly enough, it's also the day the FDA approved marketing of DTC. I don't know what that means. Consumer genetic testing. So it sounds like genetic testing of some sort. And selling that data to third parties. I knew this would be yet another threat vector, the DNA data of customers. We have since seen examples of state sponsored actors and hackers accessing data of specific ethnic groups. Oh my God. As the company has failed to go private and remains in limbo. What's the plan to protect the data of 14 million genotyped customers? Yeah, this is wild. Yeah, and that's the newspaper. This is a crazy story. So I have always been one of those people that have had my reservations about sending in my DNA to one of these companies, specifically 23andMe, because it always just made me uneasy about these people having access to my genetic material. Because I don't trust companies. I just don't trust them with that data. And what they would ultimately use it. And I had a buddy of mine who did this genetic testing, and he found out all about his lineage. It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It was tempting because there's a cloud of mystery surrounding our lineage of my family because my grandma's adopted. So there's this whole part of my family that we don't know anything about. We don't know their history. We don't, or we know a little bit because my uncle submitted to 23andMe, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions. But s- you know, my curiosity to know didn't supersede my desire to have these private companies have access to my genetic material. So, as of right now, I've never actually sent a kit in to be tested to find out what's in, what's in my DNA. But it does seem like these people are in turmoil now. So all 23andMe board members but CEO resign over no adequate buyout offers. Hmm. The board has rejected both of Anne Wojcicki's buyout proposals to save the struggling genetics company. And by the way, Anne Wojcicki's, or whatever her name is, she's also the sister of I believe now deceased um, YouTube CEO, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. So this goes on to read, seven of the eight members of 23andMe's board have resigned in yet another blow to the struggling genetic company. CEO is now the only remaining member. Oh, man, talk about a bad day. The independent directors of the genetic testing firm said in a letter posted Tuesday that they were quitting the company's board after not receiving a satisfactory buyout offer from the CEO. And After months of work, we have yet to receive from you a fully financed, fully diligent, actionable proposal uh, that is in the best interest of the non-affiliated shareholders," said the seven directors, including the CEO of YouTube, in the letter to the company's co-founder and CEO. In a memo, the employee reported to the Wall Street Journal. Wojcicki responded, "I am surprised and disappointed by this decision of the directors to resign." She maintained that taking the company private was still its best strategic option, and she said she would conduct a search for new board members. So maybe that is the case, but I suspect there's probably more to it. Specifically, this. So 23andMe agrees to $30 million settlement over data breach that affected 6.9 million customers. Maybe they see the writing on the wall and that this is a sinking company and they're not willing to stay on board because these people were not adequately able to protect the genetic material of their customers. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the reason. Seems pretty likely to me. And so let's read a little bit from the USA Today. Ancestry and genetics testing company 23andMe has agreed to pay $30 million settlement after a class action lawsuit was brought against the company for last year's data breach. The settlement, which is pending a judge's approval, comes after the company confirmed in October that threat actors used about 14,000 accounts, approximately 0.1% of the company's user base, to access the ancestry data of 6.9 million connected profiles. Leaked data included users' account information, locations, ancestry reports, DNA matches, family names, profile pictures, birth dates, and more. And the question now is, well, what did these companies, what did these hackers do with this information? I'm certainly curious. While 23andMe confirmed the existence of the data breach in October, it did not reveal the full extent of the issue until December. A class action lawsuit was filed in San Francisco in the following month, accusing 23andMe of failure to amply protect users' personal information. Yeah, you think? You think maybe they failed? Maybe they dropped the ball a little bit? Seems that way to me. So, uh, it also accused 23andMe of neglecting to notify certain users that the data from the people from people with Chinese and Ashkenazi Jewish heritage appear to be targeted in the breach. That's interesting. Like, what are they using their DNA for? So, so the company admitted to no wrongdoing as part of an agreement to pay 30 million to the affected parties. So it looks like they're gonna try to pay out, but yeah, it seems like this is a this is a pretty significant breach, and it compromised a lot of their customers' data. And one of the things that I've been told, oh, I didn't have that up. One of the things that I've been told, this was it, was that your data is safe with them. A lot of people that were trying to pitch me on doing this informed me that now this is completely safe. You don't have to worry about it, but look at this data breach. Yeah, you have to worry about it. And look at all the information they get. Display name, how recently you logged in, their relationship labels, predicted relationship and percentage DNA shared with relatives, ancestry reports, self-reported location, ancestors' birth, location, family names, profile picture, birth year, a web link to a family tree they created, and anything else that may have been included in the introduce yourself section of the profile. Man, yeah, so they got a boatload of data. And one of the things, and this might be a little conspiracy, but I don't care. Like, one of the things that concern me about doing something like this is what they could use my DNA for. Could they use it for cloning? Could they use it for lab testing? What could they use this DNA for? I don't know. And I don't really care to find out. I'm curious, but not that curious where I want to get my DNA in this database. It just makes me uncomfortable. I'm okay with some mysteries being there, and it doesn't seem like these people are responsible with the data that they've been entrusted to. And I don't think it's just 23andMe. I think it's any of these companies. There's just data breach after data breach, and even with our personally identifiable information, I mean, we already have our own government that has had data leaked and stolen, and every other day we're learning of a new company that was a victim of some sort of sophisticated cyber attack that they were able to take all their data. So I would, that in itself is bad. You couple that with genetic data, and that just seems like a recipe for disaster. So big fail on 23andMe. Hopefully, these people get their money and they get some compensation and justice for what has ultimately been done to them. All right, next story we are going to talk about. So the first trailer of the Australian remake, The Office, is set to premiere on Prime on October 18th. Who's excited for? I mean, I know so many people have been asking for a reboot of The Office, and by so many people, I mean nobody. Nobody's been asking for it. But let's see. Let's see if this lives up to the name of the original. Well, not the original Office. It's already been remade once or Americanized. But let's see what Office Australia looks like.
Big announcement. Can I have a drum roll, please? The drum roll, Lloyd.
That's how I drum roll.
People ask me, how can I become a great boss? And the answer is having a happy staff that love you. Oof.
This is a proper HR nightmare.
As of today, we are all back in the office full time. What?
That's not good news.
I'm promoting you to productivity manager.
Yes, sir. Do I want to support the vision of my branch manager? At all costs.
Is this the dark web?
No, it's not the dark web. Is that Lizzie?
Okay.
The perks of coming to work: riling up Lizzie, flirting, watching Nick rile up Lizzie.
What's his name?
My crow's name is Russell.
Hello, Rusty. How are you, mate?
Nick, no.
We lost one of our own last week.
Brian died.
We were so close. He's always in my heart.
Oh, is he the tall, sad one?
Yeah.
No, he was the short and smiley one.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What nationality is he?
What sexual identity is he? Doesn't feel relevant, does it?
Hannah is a riddle swallowed by an idiot and shut out by a moron.
Those people are like family to me, and I won't let you throw them out on the street.
The daily commute is killing me.
Is someone sleeping in here?
Don't want anyone knowing about it. It's not a big deal. It's been 4 nights this week. It's nothing.
It's the race that stops the nation.
Giddy up.
It's awake, but I want people to feel awake.
I don't want to be on the committee.
I understand that, but you're also the oldest and closest to the end, so I would really love your buy-in on this event, okay?
If I die while I'm still working here, please don't let this happen.
Promoting women into positions of power. That's my mantra, really.
I've never heard you say that.
Oh, my back hurts from carrying all my sisters all the time. Ow!
Okay, well, I'll see you around.
Yeah, you definitely will, because I'll be at my desk all day.
Okay, well, I'll see you there.
You will for the next 9 hours.
Big announcement.
Guys, was that trailer supposed? I'm not even saying this to be cheeky. Like, what was that trailer supposed to be funny? There was nothing funny happened in that trailer at all. At all, no humor occurred. There was nothing funny in that trailer at all. At all. There's nothing about the trailer that looks remotely appealing, that makes me think, hey, I want to watch this show. It looks boring as hell. I'm going to be honest. Let's forget the feminist humor. Let's forget the LGBT sexuality joke. Nothing in that trailer was remotely funny. I couldn't even try to make myself laugh. This looks like a nightmare. It looks awful. And you know and of course they do the really innovative thing where they prepare yourself. All right, it's so innovative. I they're geniuses. They took the male characters and they just made them chicks. So like you have looks like female Michael, and that chick's supposed to be female Dwight. That's literally all they did. I don't think I would necessarily care about a reboot if there was even a smidge of humor in the trailer, but it wasn't funny at all. This looks boring. This looks like something that will put me to sleep. Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. But it just looks terrible. Oh, it looks terrible. I was waiting for it. I was hoping. I went in a little optimistic, hoping that there would be some sort of humor, and it wasn't. It's absolutely abysmal. And then they have to bring in this stupid sexuality humor that nobody finds funny except, the progressive activists that probably are behind this show and will ultimately be responsible for its total and abysmal failure. But yeah, and then they introduce some feminist jokes there because men love that. I mean, people that watch it, we watch The Office because we're like, yes, we want to see feminist jokes. Yes, there is nothing funnier to me than a feminist. Good Lord. Honestly, I said before that I'm okay with some remakes, but I'm not at this point. I'm not. Just stop it. Stop remaking stuff. Start making original content. We are tired of the remakes, and it would be forgivable if they weren't soulless abominations of the originals. But this isn't. This is this. This is an abomination. Ugh. God help us, man. I can't with these dumb, corny, lame remakes. They just won't stop doing it. All right, let's move on to this next story because I'm tired of this. All right. So this is a tweet that's going to lead us into conversations about nannies. All right. So this person, Mr. Family Office, tweeted, "What's the most obscene display of wealth you have seen? My mom was a nanny for this little white blonde, blue-eyed baby, and his very rich parents left him with my mom so much, paying hourly plus overnights for weeks at a time, that he only spoke Spanish and exclusively wanted to eat my mom's Mexican food." Dang. Well, like, why have kids? What's the point of having children if you're going to hire out their caretaking all hours of the day? To the point where you can't even communicate with them if you wanted to. They speak an entirely different language than you. What's the point of having a kid? When they're nothing like you, but rather like the stranger that you've entrusted to care for them all day. That is insane behavior. But it doesn't. But this is just one. Another person posted this video of this nanny. So this Colombian nanny is the perfect example of this practice in New York. All right.
Este es nuestro primer año oficial juntos. Sí, pa. Huepa. Si no estás aquí. Primer año. Juntos. Usted es un niño grande y fuerte. No eres un bebé. Ay, no lo puedo creer.
Si quieren que les enseñe cómo algo el pudín de chía, les puedo hacer la receta. Es fácil y es delicioso y es saludable. ¿Cierto?
This woman is like in love with this kid too. You'd think that this is the mother by the way that she's acting with this child, but it's not. This is just the nanny. This is just the nanny. And these people hire them and their kids are essentially being parented by somebody else. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get why you would choose to have children if you're going to have zero involvement with them and have strangers raise them all day. What is the point of that? It doesn't make any sense to me. And plus, I'll just, I'll point this out. I probably don't have to, but this nanny is, very attractive. So I suspect there's probably other motives for this guy hiring this nanny. So I don't see how the wife would be on board with this. I just don't. I don't. I don't. I don't get how that would happen. Uh, you know, it just seems like a recipe for disaster and an affair. Um, so yeah, real dumb, real stupid, and just really bad parenting. I mean, this that nanny looked like a better, looked like a good parent because we don't even know what the real parents actually are and what they're like. But I don't get the point of having children if you're going to delegate that responsibility of caring for them all day by somebody else. Now, I'm not opposed to like wealthy people hiring somebody to just help them out a little bit during the day. Like if you need a break to go run on the treadmill or something like that, take a break. That's fine. But to totally entrust the care of your child with this stranger all day long. And I heard that there are programs too where these nannies will come, they're, foreigners, they'll come live in the states for a couple of years. They'll take care of the kids and then 2 years later they go back and then a new one comes in. So now this child too is bonding with this individual and they're ultimately going to get ripped away from them every 2 years. And a new one's going to come in and now they're going to have to adapt and adjust to how this new nanny behaves. And I imagine that it'll probably cause problems. It will probably cause dilemmas because they're not able to bond correctly, and they're going to have abandonment issues because every time they form a meaningful connection with somebody, they leave, and their real biological parents are nowhere to be seen because they're hiring out parenthood. And I just think it's insane to me. I would never dream of. I love being around them. I love being around them. It's one of the greatest joys of my life. This would be unthinkable to my wife to suggest paying a stranger to watch her kids all day. It's unthinkable. She couldn't even fathom doing it. That's how invested we are in our children's lives. We want to be there. We want to be the primary influence because we want them to be like us. And that's part of the point of having kids is that you want to leave behind a legacy. But who's leaving behind the legacy here? Who's shaping their morality, their culture, their values? It's the nannies, not the parents. And that's just a huge, huge problem. Speaking of kids, I wanted to talk about this story. So this is from CNN. Child-free spaces, dirty looks on planes, and breeders. Breeders. I ooh, I hate that term. Breeders? Why people seem so annoyed by kids. In some corners of society, there appears to be a shift in the way people talk about kids. Every so often, a provocative social media post sets off predictably polarizing discourse about the presence of children in daily life. There was a woman who snarkily suggested that toddlers should be leashed, and there was a guy that who posed outside of an establishment that declared itself dog friendly and child free. I believe I commented on that story a while back. I'm confident I commented on this story. Yeah, this one. Weird. Just weird. One, not only weird to have a space where children aren't allowed, but for people to bring their dogs instead of children. And this, this to me highlights our culture's terrible relationship with animals. All right. Like I'm just gonna come right out and say it. We have an idolatrous relationship with animals. I'm not saying you can't love your pet, all right? I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, like, when you prefer your animals over people, there's something wrong with you. There just is. There's something wrong with you. If you value time spent with animals over people, it's just weird. So yeah, I remember commenting on this weirdo, and then I don't think I've ever saw this. A lady tweeted about her dog. The internet exploded. Here's why. I just want to see the tweet. 8 ads. Never mind. Never mind. We're just gonna read the story. Blah 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 blah. Outside of an establishment and declared it dog friendly and child free, and the person who defended himself by proclaiming that it was fine and normal to dislike children. Actually, I'm just gonna be very fully transparent here too. No, it's actually not fine that you dislike children. It's not fine. Children are innocent. They're a sign of what is good and pure and right in the world. And there is very little reason to dislike them unless all right, there are some scenarios if their parents don't reprimand them and they're acting very very badly in public. But you shouldn't dislike the child. Actually, you should dislike the parent for just being a bad parent. But generally, you should like children. It's actually a sign that you're kind of a scumbag if you don't like children. All right, that's it. Just is what it is. All right. Um, you know, kids have an excuse for not behaving properly. You don't as an adult. Uh, like my 17-month-old daughter. It's okay for her to throw a tantrum because she's a toddler. You're a grown adult. There's no reason to try to justify disliking children. It's unjustifiable. And two, it's also a little ironic because you also once were a child. So we all go through stages of development, and we shouldn't dislike people at their most vulnerable stage where they have the least amount of control over their actions, and they're learning to navigate this world, and they don't need you know uh, schmuck adults that try make that process harder. All right. So in certain online communities, people sometimes express these attitudes even more jarringly, using terms such as crotch goblins for kids and breeders for parents. Yeah, derogative terms to describe something beautiful and that holds up all of human civilization. It's a very good way to describe them. Not These attitudes show up online, offline too. The issues of crying babies on plane is a frequent source of conflict, with some passengers glaring, yelling, or more recently, locking the offending child in the lavatory to admonish them. And as people who seek to avoid loud, unruly children make known their presence for child-free restaurants, grocery stores, and flights, more businesses are catering to them. This is actually symptomatic of a society that is on decline, because we need to be more accommodating for children. There are so many places that you can go to without children. Typically bars are those places too that you can go to without children. Now, I'm not talking like a sports bar where you can sit down and eat a restaurant, but just a bar. Typically, children aren't allowed there. Clubs, there are places you can go, but society should be geared toward people who have children, because guess what? Our fertility rate is declining. So we need to encourage people and make parents as comfortable as possible. The implication, joking or otherwise, is that children are a nuisance, and adults shouldn't have to endure them if they don't want to. The brazenness with which people express this attitude, even if it's more a meme than anything else, has an effect on parents. Some parents, almost always mothers, are so attuned to the possibility that their child might inconvenience others that they are constantly apologizing for normal kid behavior. Yeah. And you know, want to know what? You know, like if your kid is acting bad, chances are you're aware of it and you're trying. Like there's nothing worse than your toddler having a meltdown in public, all right? Like you know it's not good, you try to stop it. Sometimes it just can't be helped. And instead of getting scowled at, instead of these crotch goblins complaining online, you know, maybe you know, offer the parent some words of encouragement or try to help in some sort of way, or at least keep your stupid looks to yourself as parents try to navigate raising the future generation, raising the generation that's going to be holding up society because you losers don't want to have children because you're selfish. Da-da-da-da-da. So inconvenience others that they constantly apologize for normal kid behavior. Others pass out earplugs and candy on flight. Maria Maddox, a freelance writer based in Ohio, has yet to fly with her 3-year-old because she can't predict how he'll react and doesn't want to experience judgment from fellow passengers. Yeah, it makes parents very apologetic when their child is in a public space or around other people, even if the child is not doing anything extreme. She says, as visible as the undercurrent of hostility towards children is online, it's difficult to measure just how pervasive it is in day-to-day life, or who exactly it's coming from. Still, some scholars and parenting experts say these sentiments reflect broader changes in how children are seen in culture and society, at least among the very online. Some are reacting to conservative rhetoric. All right, so let's blame the conservatives now. Adults griping about kids intruding on their comfort isn't a new phenomenon. In 2000, Eleanor Burkett wrote about child free, and I hate this language too, and I've said this before. Child free, like children are a burden. No, you're childless because children benefit society. Children typically enrich the lives of those who choose to have them. So I hate that word, child free. Adults who had grown to resent the public benefits and workplace flexibility afforded to parents, the baby boon, how family friendly America cheats the childless. One person quoted in the book likened kids to in the office to a petting zoo and described having children as skirting out a spot. Man, these people sound so psychotic to me. The same year, journalist Lisa Belkin explored the tension between people who have children and people who don't in New York Times Magazine. Your kids are their problem. One man featured in a piece explicitly sought to live in a neighborhood not infested with children. Another called his friend with kids child burdened. The story also noted the countless child-free sites whose names for children included brats, ankle biters, and crib lizards. Yeah, these people are demons, man. I don't really have a nice way to put it. They're demonic. Uh, and we're allowed to exist in society with our children. And sadly, there's not a lot that you can do about it. While openly hostile attitudes toward children could once be considered relatively niche, social media seems to have amplified and normalized them, says Anastasia Berg, whose recent book, What Are Children For?, co authored with Rachel Wiseman, explores modern ambivalence around children. You also have precisely these kinds of discourses that were limited previously to something like subreddit to certain communities that define themselves through child free identities, but they weren't sharing them with the broader world, she says. You have those opinions being expressed more comfortably and publicly now than before. In Berg's assessment, anti children posts that generate heated debates on X and TikTok and other platforms aren't especially serious. The people behind them aren't part of some organized movement, nor are they actually lobbying for the exclusion of children from public spaces. Another thing, too, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's long, but this reminds me of that stupid dink movement that you see, dual income, no kids. So these people bragging about how they get to go to Costco and buy all these different foods and do all these really basic, ordinary things that anybody can do, even people with children. And that they brag about this, and all of them are just infatuated with Costco. Which, by the way, you know, typically the people going to Costco, families with kids, because we buy in bulk and we're still able to have fun and do things, except we share now those experiences with our children. Now, I'm not going to front and pretend like it's easy in the beginning. In the beginning, when you have very small kids, you're locked, you're confined to what you can do, but that's only for a short time, and then you get to go out and experience the world with them. And I gotta tell you, there's something really beautiful about experiencing the world with your kids, going on walks with them and showing them the world in all its vast beauty, and just going on adventures together. That's one of the joys that I experience in being a father is sharing my experience of the world with another person and helping them navigate through it and watching them navigate this world with wonder in their eyes. And I see children in public, and it usually brings a smile to my face. And if they're acting badly, it's not, I don't get mad or disappointed in the child. I get mad at the parent. Parent your kid better. Teach them manners, teach them respect. But generally, when I see kids in public, they make me smile, man. I saw a baby the other day. I forget where I was, but the baby was smiling and happy and beautiful, and it couldn't help make you smile. And it's striking to me that there are people that see these kids and they just look at them with contempt. They look at them like a nuisance, like they're a problem. No, you're the problem. Kids are fine. Kids are kids. In fact, we should be making parents and children more comfortable because they make the world a beautiful place and they make the world worth fighting for. So we fight for a better future for them and their children. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because it really rubs me the wrong way. These child-free people, and I'm not crapping on people that can't have kids or don't want kids. Look, kids are not for everybody, all right? But they are for most people. And if you can't have kids through no fault of your own, I'm genuinely sorry about that. That's awful. And I pray the Lord blesses you with one. And if you can have kids, but you're pursuing a higher calling, that's fine too. But most of these people that don't want to have kids, they don't want to have them because they want to pursue vain and selfish ambition. They're not trying to cure cancer. They're not trying to go to the moon. They're not trying to do anything profound. They're not dedicating their life to science. No, they want to stay home and watch TV, binge Netflix, go to Costco, walk their stupid little dog, and contribute absolutely nothing to society. I could respect a person that doesn't want to have kids if they committed themselves to something higher. If you've given your life to ministry and you're doing missionary work, or you're an evangelist, or you're a scientist, like if you've given yourself to something, that's admirable. And I don't even think it's because those people don't fully want kids. It's that they understand the mission that they've been entrusted to is going to require all their time and effort. And in that case, it's a sacrifice. But these people that just don't want to have kids because they want to pursue their own selfish desires, those people are pathetic to me. All right. Last story. We're going to be covering Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast, KSI, and Logan Paul are releasing Lunchly, a Lunchables competitor. It will feature Prime, Feastables chocolate, and a variation of food. So this is their new Lunchables competitor. They got a couple different ones. And I personally don't really have an issue with this. But just because I don't have an issue with this doesn't mean the internet doesn't have an issue, because they do. They do have a problem with this. So we'll play their little promo of this, and then we'll talk about it.
Lunchly versus Lunchables.
With Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar. Feastables Crunch
Yeah!
Bar. Our pizza uses real cheese. Theirs, as it says on their box, is mozzarella pasteurized prepared cheese product. They can't even call it real cheese.
Ooh.
We're also 30 less calories, 3 less grams of fat, and 8 less grams of sugar. Turkey Stack 'em. 310 calories.
230 calories.
21 grams of sugar.
Only 7 grams of sugar.
If you look at this close up, you can already tell which one has better ingredients. All right, we'll start off with the Lunchables.
Bro, I'm sorry, that's trash. All right, now we're trying Lunchly. Come on. We're not biased at all, but ours is way better.
Fiesta Nachos. 22 grams of sugar.
10 grams of sugar.
7 grams of protein.
9 grams of protein.
Come in close and look at the queso cheese in Lunchly versus whatever that is.
It looks like
versus
plastic.
stick. I like my cheese drippy, bro. This is a Lunchly salsa right here. Look at the consistency, the texture. And this is Lunchables. This, look, it's watery. I can't even look at that. With 400 milligrams of electrolytes, my God!
And it's available for around $4. Super affordable. Go give it a try.
Oh my God.
Lunchly versus...
Yeah, not gonna lie, Lunchly definitely looks better than Lunchables, because Lunchables looks like plastic. Even their regular cheese looks like plastic cheese. So anyway, they posted this and they got a lot of backlash. So this guy, Dan did him, whatever. What happened to YouTubers, man? I cannot say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them do better. Well, this literally is better. It's better. And what we should trust these giant food conglomerates. They're more trustworthy. I'm not saying here that Mr. Beast and Logan Paul are super trustworthy. All right, I'm not going to say that, but I'm also not going to say that the people at Lunchables are also trustworthy. All right, I'm not going to. I don't think they have the best interest of your children in mind either. So if somebody's going to compete with them, I'm all for it. Yes, I like healthy competition. There should be a good competition to the crap that they're giving kids. And if it's a little better, that's fine. But people were not happy about this. They always promote it like it's healthy too. Why not teach kids healthy eating habits? They're comparing their product to Lunchables, which in itself is highly processed crap. None of them are passionate about their health towards fans, only their wallets. So disappointing. Scammers plus child labor plus child obesity, maybe bullying too. Well, theirs did have less calories. Now, am I going to say it's more healthy? Probably a little bit, but I don't think they're claiming to be, like they're claiming that their products are health food. I don't think they're making that claim. Just that it's better than Lunchables. Mr. Beast, his whole Feastables product was he just wanted to make a chocolate bar that was better than Hershey's, and he succeeded. I like his chocolate bars; they are better than Hershey's. So, yeah. So they posted this. Logan Paul ends up hitting back. He says, "I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spent our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead." But when we create a better version, you're upset, then don't eat it. Yeah, I think that's the right mentality. Nobody's complaining about the crap in Lunchables, but now they are. Now that there's an alternative, a better alternative. And if you don't like either alternatives, well, guess what? You can go do. You can make your own product and sell it and compete with them. I mean, it's going to be hard. You definitely don't have the buying power that they do, but I do think this is good. And two, maybe it'll drive Lunchables to make a better product. That's the good thing about having competition. It drives your competitors to do better. So maybe they'll come out with, like a very healthy option, Lunchables in the future. Instead of the cardboard and plastic cheese they sell. Mr. Beast also hit back on this. Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better better for you alternative to it. Our turkey meal, for example, is 80 calories less, 60% less sugar, which that in and of itself is good. 60% less sugar, good. More electrolytes. We use real cheese. Yeah. Certainly, we can agree that real cheese is healthier than cheese product, whatever the hell that is. They can't call it cheese, higher quality meat, etc. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier, but if someone is going to eat a pre-made meal like this, which millions of people do through Lunchables, then I think giving them a higher quality version at roughly the same price is a net good, in my opinion, and why we launched Lunchly. Also, we get economies of scale, and I can get things cheaper. We will be only improving the product more and more. Yeah, so this is a good start. I think it's good to have healthy competition, and I'm for it, you know? And I can't even imagine what eating a Lunchables now would even taste like. I don't think my body could tolerate that right now. So if I had an option between whatever they're offering and Lunchables, I'll take Lunchly. And I think too, a lot of kids, like them and will buy their product, and it's good. I'm all for capitalism. If they want to make money while also making a better product, they got my approval. All right. All right. Well, we'll cover one more story with Mr. Beast because I do think it's relevant. So this is from Variety. Mr. Beast, Amazon sued by contestants on Beast Games competition show with allegations including sexual harassment and chronic mistreatment. Lawsuit on behalf of 5 unmarked participants seeks class action status. So a lawsuit against YouTuber star Mr. Beast and Amazon has been filed on behalf of 5 unnamed contestants. Blah, 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 blah. The complaint was filed Monday, September 16th in Los Angeles Superior Court. The lawsuit alleges multiple causes of action related to chronic mistreatment and neglect suffered by participants in the Beast Games. And they had, I guess, Mr. Beast has like $1 million budget. The lawsuit seeks class action status on behalf of the affected Beast Games contestants. The suit demands that Amazon and Mr. Beast pay alleged unpaid wages and expenses, and that the defendants be ordered to pay unspecified punitive monetary damages. So I gotta say, I'm not. Well, let me read this before I comment. All right. According to the lawsuit, Amazon, Mr. Beast, MRB 2024 production company, and independent production firm Off One's Base LLC, among other things, failed to pay minimum wage and overtime, failed to prevent sexual harassment, created conditions that subjected contestants to infliction of emotional distress. Yes. Well, it's a competition, so yes, there might be a little bit of emotional distress. I don't know if any of you have ever watched his content, but he does like radical things like burying himself alive in a coffin for 7 days, or locking themselves in a room, or leaving themselves stranded on an island, or having to survive in the wilderness for an extended period of time. These are some of the things that you might need to be aware of if you're going to sign up for his style of competitions. I don't imagine that it's going to be emotionally easy for some people. So that's one of those things where it's like, how do you gauge that emotional distress? Dude, you probably signed up for it. Shut up. Stop complaining. The sexual harassment thing, that's bad. All right. So if there is sexual harassment, whoever's doing it, like Chris Tyson, should be held accountable. Did not provide participants uninterrupted meal breaks or rest breaks, and exposed contestants to dangerous circumstances. Yes, it's a competition, and conditions as a condition of their employment. So we'll see. I think right now, and listen, I'm not gonna say Mr. Beast isn't worthy of criticism. All right, he definitely has his share of criticism that he deserves. All right, but I do think because of the Chris Tyson thing, that a lot of people are capitalizing on his name to make a name for themselves. So they're latching onto any little thing to try to bring Beast through the ringer to either get a payout or bring eyes on them. And some of these bases are going to be unsubstantiated, I suspect. And I don't anticipate that Mr. Beast is going to have this giant multi-million-dollar game show and not have all his ducks in a row. So chances are a lot of these people agreed to some of what they endured. And if they weren't paid, if they were fairly treated, I do think obviously they should be compensated for that. But I do think a lot of people are capitalizing off the bad press that's been surrounding Mr. Beast. And this is just another instance where they're doing so. But time will tell. All right, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked this content. If you didn't click that like button, go ahead and subscribe and follow and comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. We go live every Tuesday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a blessed night. Deuces.